We've left Marco Polo finally after 7 episodes. 7 episodes is a long, long time. And for the time being, at least, we've left the reconstructions, which is a blessing, because even though I'm privileged and pleased to be able to watch these in any form whatsoever, it's not quite the same as I think we've established over the last few weeks. But nonetheless, this was a good episode. We had some very doctory moments with the Doctor playing backgammon against the mighty Kublai Khan. We had Tigana finally getting his comeuppance and committing Harry-Carry. I don't know if it's referred to as Harry-Carry. Harry-Carry Japanese? Possibly. I don't know. And we had a big old sword fight, which in terms of the reconstruction was a bit of a shame because it was actually going really nicely, and the nature of the story meant that the reconstruction didn't feel too detracting from the actual plot and the happenings. So that was good, and it was all right. And then we had the big sword fight with still photography, and at the end in the credits there's actually a credit to who arranged the sword fight. So bless him. I'm sure it was brilliant. But what's telling about the sword fight, and it's 7 weeks we've been watching this, if it was back in the day, but the sword fight was between Marco Polo and Tigana. Now that's perfectly apt and felt just right, and I was pleased to feel delighted for Marco Polo at the end, who came good, but it just goes to show that Doctor Who in these days, the role of the guest stars was far more integral to the viewer's affections, or at least at this very early stage. I anticipate we're supposed to feel as bothered about Marco Polo as we are about Ian, Barbara, Susan, the Doctor. So that was nice, and I enjoyed the fact that I cared. I enjoyed the fact that I'm glad that Marco Polo was the one that did it, because in other writings it would have been Ian that had the sword fight and would have won quite remarkably against Tigana, who quite clearly was a bit handy before he went. Whoa. I like the whole backgammon thing with the Doctor. Ping Chow got away without marrying the 70-year-old winner. And she was a great character. Unfortunately, Susan's still travelling with the Doctor, but that's life. And all in all, it was good. Really enjoyed it. It was great. Can't argue with that. Christmas beer. Not my beer of choice, but I don't mind. It was a gift, and therefore I'm appreciative. So, to sum up Marco Polo, in all honesty, it's been a bit of a slog. But it's not been a bit of a slog because of the story. I think there's been plenty there to have kept your viewer occupied. I think that 7 episodes is a very long time for Doctor Who, but I have a feeling that this might have pulled it off. It might have done it. It might have felt a little bit more like a proper 7-part story. The whole road trip aspect of it is a nice thing to hang something around. We're travelling from here to here, and things happen along the way. Much better than the Daleks. We go to the city, come back, and so I think Marco Polo was probably a very good Doctor Who story, and it's a real pity that we can't appreciate it as we're supposed to be appreciated. I can tell that Liv's been losing faith with the project as we've been doing it this last 7 weeks. For various reasons, but most of all because I think we didn't have any movement. In fact, she seemed quite happy when she mistakenly thought we had movement today, but to disappoint her. And so, ironically, wrapping up now, Marco Polo, great, enjoyed it really good. Odd cliffhanger, because it wasn't really a cliffhanger. I don't know if that's something to the reconstruction, I'll have to look it up, but that was nice. It was an ending that focused on Marco Polo, and I enjoyed that. I think that was quite classy, really. But ironically, because we've had 7 episodes of that, I'm actually really G'd up about the next story. And it's called, I think, The Sea of Death. And it could be about anything. And it could, as far as I know, be written by anybody. It could be written by Shakespeare. It could have been Dickens's one Doctor Who episode. It could be anybody. Let's be thankful for movement next time. Anyway, Marco Polo, real pity that it's not as it should be, and it doesn't bode particularly well for when we've got months and months of reconstructions to come. But let's be thankful we've got anything, shall we? Positivity is always a good thing. That'll do. Bye-bye.